Hello world and welcome to Out and About Vegas. I just got back from Vegas and I thought I would share some of my photos and stories with you in hopes that maybe it'll help you plan your trip to Vegas or give you the courage to go there if you're afraid of the big scary Las Vegas place. I'm really bad at packing ahead of time. I can do some, but really not a lot, because just the way my mentality works, I have to pack the day of. If I pack in advance, I get all anxious about what have I forgotten, what haven't I forgotten, and I end up with this anxious waiting period rather than being ready to go. Of course, the last thing I end up packing is my carry-on luggage, which ends up as this big jumble of things stuffed into a backpack that I can jam under the seat in front of me. But there's always some essentials that I have to have, like books, Sudoku. Last year I got enough frequent flyer miles that I was able to take this trip and upgrade it to first class seats. I've never done first class before, so it was a little bit scary, but really exciting to get to try to see what it was like to be upper crust. I was so nervous sitting there in first class, not knowing what I was doing, when obviously everyone around me was professionals and did this all the time. And when the stewardess came up to offer me a drink, my instant reaction was, oh, no, thank you. Then I'm like, wait, that's kind of stupid. So I actually stopped and ordered a drink instead. My next faux pas was when the stewardess comes around with a basket of goodies. Here I am used to, if you're lucky, you get a little itty bitty bag of pretzels. And instead, she comes around with the big basket, pretzels and peanuts and fruit and cookies and all sorts of stuff. Would you like to have a snack? And I'm like, sure, I'll take just the pretzels. Thank you. Only one? That's where I'm like, sure, I'll have this banana too. So by this point, hopefully they realized I had no clue what I was doing and I was there as an imposter first class person. The first leg of my flight got delayed quite a bit, so I ended up sprinting across the airport, going from one terminal to the next in order to catch my flight, which had started boarding about 20 minutes before my previous flight had landed. By a miracle, I made the flight, and so did my luggage. Now, I was splitting a room with a friend, and it was under his name, so when I landed, I didn't have a hotel room to stay in, and because of the way things work, they couldn't add my name to the room. So here I am, my first night in Vegas, and I'm just hanging out with no real place to stay. It's all good. I stayed at Ballys, which is a pretty good casino. It's lower price than many of the ones in the area, and it is on the Strip. However, it's not really modern per se. It's got a much older feel to it, and things are a little worn. The beds are really hard. They give you 3 pillows, but none of them are really very good, but it suffices. It's not like you spend a lot of time in your hotel room. I was with a group of friends, and for the most part we stayed together, but occasionally we split off, lost one person here or there, went to different events, had a good time in general though, and we're a pretty large group of 8 people. So we wanted to go to the Pinball Hall of Fame, which obviously is what Vegas is famous for. With our larger group, we decided either there was the 2 taxi route or there was something else. We weren't going to walk because this wasn't on the Strip at all. The guy at the hotel recommended that we actually take a limo, because he just happened to have a stretch limo waiting to take people, and it could seat 8 people and was actually cheaper than if we were going to take 2 taxis. So if you're in a big group, keep that in mind. It may actually be better for you and cheaper to go more luxurious. The Pinball Hall of Fame was a good time. I once again confirmed that I'm really not very good at pinball machines. There was this one game there that was really rude. It just kept taunting me, saying, "You stink, come on, you can do it." Actually, it was a skee-ball game. I'm not sure I got any of them in the high score hole. The first big meal we had as a group was at a place called Smith & Walensky, which is on the Strip, kind of at the southern end. I wasn't sure what to get, but decided on getting a shrimp appetizer to start with, and then this lobster salad thing. Yeah, that's salad. The real highlight for me, however, was the beverage. This lavender-colored drink was really quite tasty, and after a little while I had to ask the waiter, how much of this is alcohol? So he looks at the menu, he's like, all of it. I'm like, oh, well, that explains why this is so tasty. That night, we went to see the famous Blue Man Group over at the Monte Carlo Casino. The show started with floating eyeballs skimming across the crowd and got kind of weirder from there. Now, I didn't know anything about the Blue Man Group other than that they did percussion instrument stuff. And that they were all supposed to be a really good performance. What I learned was that they actually do a lot of variety act kind of thing with various skits, and that the instrumentation was just part of it. It was a lot of fun, and I recommend the Blue Man Group no matter what party size you have. Tuesday was spent primarily gambling. We didn't really want to commit to any particular shows or any particular schedule, so a bunch of us just went around casino to casino, hit the slots, hit the tables, and generally just had a good time, losing lots of money. Two things surprised me while we were gambling. The first one was that it was a smoking facility everywhere. There wasn't any non-smoking area, which coming from New York, that's actually quite a bit of a surprise because we don't allow anything smoking in New York, pretty much. The second thing that I ran into was that there was a lot of slots that were geared towards women, or in my case, not exactly women, but people that like looking at a pretty man. Then that night, we decided to all retire back to one of the rooms. We pretty much had our fill of smoke and gambling, and we played a game of Cards Against Humanity. Now, if you don't know what Cards Against Humanity is, then shame on you, go get it now. Don't worry, the link is down below so you can find out more about it. This highly inappropriate game was a great time, especially given the environment and all the alcohol that we had perhaps consumed during the day. Our last day in Vegas was without a doubt the busiest one. In the morning, we started at the Hard Rock Casino, which is off the Strip. Yes, that Hard Rock. It was really neat to see the paraphernalia of the musicians scattered about the place, and you just got this vibe of being there made you cool. And of course, feeling cool, I spent most of my time at the Lord of the Rings slot machine. Nerd. From there, we went to the Hofbrau House, which is a German pub right across the street from Hard Rock. Amazing facility, great people, a lot of fun, very open and lively atmosphere, and giant glasses of beer. And we had a fantastic sausage party. After a break and some more gambling, we went to see the show Absinthe outside Caesar's Palace. Absinthe was another variety act kind of show. Lots of acrobatics, some very crude comedy, and some pretty fine looking people. I wonder how I can get an acrobat. It was a really fun show. And it's a much smaller, closer atmosphere than a lot of the big auditorium shows that go on. If you're all adults, I strongly recommend it. If you want to be very interactive with the show, then sit up front. Otherwise, if you're a group of 4 people, there's tables in the back, and that's what we did. We actually took 2 tables over. The last big thing that we did was we headed over to Fremont Street to go to a place called Insert Coins. To my surprise, Fremont Street turned out to not just be a street, but to actually be the old Vegas Strip. It was amazing with the light canopy and all the casinos, and it's a very different feel than the new strip that I had spent all the time on so far. We actually went into one of the casinos there, the Golden Nugget, just to walk around, and because they had a shark tank. Not only was it a shark tank, but it was a shark tank with a great big glass slide that you could slide down through the water with the sharks. Now, it was late at night, so the slide wasn't open and we didn't get to try it, but it was still pretty cool. Now, Insert Coins is actually a gamer bar. My group reserved a table with 2 gaming consoles and a bottle of alcohol and a bunch of mixers, and we were pretty much set for the night. We primarily played Super Smash Bros. On the Wii and Soul Calibur on the Xbox. Once again, confirming I am horrible at pretty much all gaming. In any case, good times were had by all. On the way back from Fremont Street, we were wrapping up the night, and we needed a ride, of course. We were actually offered a really good deal on a limo that happened to be there because it was a slow night for them, being in the middle of the week. Now, when I say a limo, really what I mean is a tank. This is one of those stretch SUV limos, and you get in, it is huge. There's a stripper pole in the middle, there's coolers and with ice on all sides. You can stand up inside it without hitting your head, assuming you're not some mutant tall person like some of my friends. If you ever get the chance to ride in a stretch SUV limo just once, it's probably worth it. The flight back was very, very long. First leg was perfectly on time, everything went well, except that the second leg got delayed by 2.5 hours, and it was already a 2.5 hour layover. So I got lots of reading done, finished up a whole book on this trip, and made it home safe and sound. So have you been to Vegas? If so, let me know. Put what you liked best in the comments below. If you've ever been to Absinthe, what table did you sit at? We were at the bike shop. Of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that I should make more of these. And subscribe to my channel and you'll be able to see when I publish more videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day when you're out and about. I'm going to swallow your soul.